Do we think that the Bush presidency was a success vis-a-vis Israel?
Well,
it was a success on one level because part of what American Jews are looking for, and Americans in general are looking for what's in your heart. And for the American Jewish voter, they're looking for is love of Israel in your heart, or at least respect of Israel. At the end of the day, though, there are very, very deep foreign policy realities that are going to bind every administration, including the next one.
I think
now,
you
had a lot of supporters in your show of President Bush.
It's a very complicated picture because, on the one hand, very clearly, the deep sentiment that Bush has expressed in terms of his friendship and the friendship of America towards Israel is something that resonates within my community and I think within the Jewish community at large. At the same time, whether or not the foreign policy positions of the Bush administration, the Iraq War, or any of those other eventualities have really been beneficial for Israel, I think the verdict is still out, and it's very questionable.
That's the famous question. Is Israel more secure, better off now than it was when he came into office as a result? I'm not sure.
You get mixed votes. Votes.
I mean, the fact is that when he was in Israel, and this is probably the only country in the world, probably, where he was cheered and lauded as a great, great man, and the enthusiasm of course, the Israelis, and to a certain extent, I suppose, the Americans who were invited to participate in those celebrations. It was overwhelming. I suggested that the president make a aliyah to Israel. That's the way it'll be most popular.
Are there proper ethical concerns being taken into account in the kosher supervision process regarding the meat industry?
I would say probably not enough. I think that there's been a distinction between kosher supervision and other issues, and the kosher supervision agencies have basically said this is our job, to supervise the kashrus, to supervise the ritual purity of the substance that we're supervising. The problem's going to be, and I agree with you very, 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 very strongly, I think that for us as rabbis, we need to be able to say to our congregants, you can't come to shul and then go out and steal. You can't daven with the tallis over your head and then treat someone improperly. We need to be able to create a Judaism that is complete and whole. The question is how to do it.
I think there's a general feeling that in the Orthodox community, in many Orthodox communities, and especially in the more Haredi, more extreme Orthodox communities, there's more concern for the strict rules of halakha, of how you cut the animal's throat and how you examine the lungs and everything, and they're not really concerned about whether you're stealing or whatever, or going into court and perjuring themselves. There's a general feeling that, I mean, I often say, if I was going to go to court or I was going to do a business deal with somebody, would I go, it's a terrible thing to say, but would I go to a chassid in Muncie or somewhere, or would I go to one of Rabbi Meal's congregants? Who could I trust more to tell the truth in court and everything? I mean, it's a terrible thing, but you know of the large amounts of fraud, etc.
It's not that many or most of our people observe kashrut, but I want to make 2 points. One, what one segment of the Jewish community does impacts on the reputation of the totality of Jews. And in this case, accusations of inhumane treatment of animals impacts on all of us.
To say finally that, of course, there are honest Hasidim and dishonest, and honest conservative Jews and dishonest, but I don't see the sense of outrage in the Orthodox community when something happens. I mean, these terrible things of pedophiles and etc., and people are allowed to continue to teach in yeshivas.
Come to my congregation once in a while on a Shabbat, and you will hear the rabbi speaking very clearly about
I know this
issues.
rabbi.
On that note.
You're a good rabbi.
And what are the values that are animating your congregants right now, aside from Israel?
I think the fear of the unknown with Obama, and fear thrives on ignorance. It needs ignorance to flourish. What can he do? He can become more of a known entity.
Are those rumors really true in your synagogue, relating to him being a Muslim?
I had someone come up at the Kiddush and say to me, this Muslim cannot be elected. I said, he's Christian.
I tell you, in my community, there's none of that. We're Upper West Side liberal Jews, and they're not falling for that. In fact, if you want to take a look carefully Barack Hussein Obama might have a Muslim middle name, but has a very good Jewish first name. Baruch. Anybody who knows Judaism and Jewish history
But you see, it's very interesting.
knows that that's a classic Jewish name.